Anthony Joshua is set to take on Daniel Dubois for the IBF heavyweight title at Wembley Stadium on 21st September. Undisputed champion Oleksandr Usyk vacated the belt on Tuesday, and interim champion Dubois, 26, was elevated to champion status as a result. Apparently, the IBF won the appeal from Usyk and his team to maintain his IBF heavyweight championship belt because of the urgency for the division to remain active. This opens up a whole new opportunity for both Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois.
Hi everybody people, Anthony and Daniel, listen, I know IBF title important to you. Tell it my present to you on September 21. Guys, слава Богу за все, слава Україні.
During their press conference, Joshua made Dubois aware that he had kept his eyes peeled for the 26-year-old, but stressed his focus on arriving in peak condition, while Dubois was assertive that he will have the beating of Joshua come September. Joshua stated, "I picked Dubois to win against Hrgović. I watch boxing closely, and I picked him before. It came true, and we're here. So I've been having Dubois on my mind for a while, and he'll be on my mind for the next 12 weeks until I get my hand raised." Joshua's name had been in the mix with Deontay Wilder and Fury, who lost respectively to Zhilei Zhang and Usyk this year. If Wilder had beaten Zhang, then the American may have been in Dubois' shoes. But Joshua was clear he is not taking his opponent lightly. He said, "Dubois isn't like the way they mention Fury or Wilder, but I'm not silly either. I know the game. We're all in the wild. We're a pack of lions. We're hunters. So I've got to keep my eyes peeled. I can't just focus on those two and not worry about anyone else. I've always kept my eyes peeled on Daniel and the rest of the heavyweights as well." Age 34, Joshua is a veteran compared to Dubois' tender age of 26, yet insisted he feels fresh at this stage of his career.
I feel fresh. I feel fresh as my shoulders clicking. Nah, I feel good, I feel good. Like, I don't drink, don't smoke. Have a little turn up now and again, but still don't drink, don't smoke. And that's about it, that's my only vice, just socializing. So I feel good. Thank God I didn't get caught up in no antics outside of boxing. I use boxing as a path to keep me on the straight and narrow. I didn't use it as a path to kind of take me off it. So yeah, young fighters coming up, look after your bodies, look after your minds, will pay dividends in the long run. So for this fight here with Daniel, it don't matter if I was 35 and he was 15, 20, 25, it don't matter. It's just a fight and I'm in peak condition. I feel good, I feel strong. So yeah, age is just a number in this one.
Dubois, flanked by Frank Warren, sat meters away from Joshua as he previewed the fight in his own words. He said, "It feels different. I would have loved to win the IBF belt on the night of my last fight, but here we are. I'm blessed. We keep going. I'm learning more about myself, a fighter, a person, coming through the darkness, going into the light, and going into the future. I'm really up for this. I'm ready to go." Since losing to Usyk last August, Dubois was seen as an underdog against Jarrell Miller and Hrgović, both of whom he beat, picking up the IBF interim strap against Hrgović to set up his fight with Joshua. Although he will be an underdog again in September, the heavyweight prospect is backing himself to dethrone Joshua.
That's just where I'm aiming for, to be the best, to fight the best and beat the best. And, AJ's been the king for a long time, and, we all know he's been the king for a very long time, and on the night I need to become a king slayer, and that's my goal, and that's the mission at hand, so I'm just ready to go.
Dubois is confident to win this fight and eyes on preparing hard to beat Anthony Joshua. He stated, "I'm ready to let my fists do the talking. I'm 100% ready to go to camp, focused, and to train like a beast." However, if AJ emerges victorious, then Hearn wants his man to face the winner of Usyk vs. Fury II for the undisputed heavyweight crown. He stated, "The answer from AJ, of course, will be focused on September 21st, but as a team, we have a plan and a vision. We have always believed he will be undisputed champion. As it happens, the re-rise of Anthony Joshua has given us more confidence than ever, and we don't see anybody in the division beating him. Not just Daniel Dubois, anybody. We've had a dream. We have been manifesting the undisputed championship. It's not a question of if or maybe, and there is no contract to fight the winner of Usyk versus Fury. It's just going to happen. He's going to win this fight, and then he is going to beat the winner of Fury Usyk. AJ would become only the 7th three-time heavyweight champion of the world if he is to extinguish Dynamite Dubois in Wembley. The latter is certainly the underdog, despite stopping Filip Hrgović and Jarrell Miller in his last two bouts. However, from a style point of view, Frank Warren has previously made it clear that Dubois should not, and will not, fear the London 2012 Olympic gold medalist. When the bout was first touted in 2022, Warren said, I fancy him against anybody. He's a big puncher. He can box as well. He's got a great jab. I honestly think Joshua is made for Dubois. My personal comment on that is I think he's made for him. During the press conference, Frank said that he is as confident in Dubois as Eddie is in AJ. Warren exclaimed that the statement of "styles make fight" is a cliche, but when the bell rings, everything changes. Warren is sure that Dubois will defend his title against Joshua on the fight night.
Eddie's very confident of Anthony, and I'm very confident of Daniel. We'll find out on the night. You know, styles make fights, all those cliches, everything. But you know what? Once that bell goes, they're going to get down on it, and it will be exciting. There's no doubt about it. They ain't going to be fiddling around, trying to feel each other out. This is going to be warfare in the ring. That's what it will be. This is going to be a great fight, and this man here is going to be successful in defending his title. That is how I see the fight. And nobody's going to change my opinion on that. That's how I see it. I believe he'll do it.
Joshua also trained with Dubois when the latter was part of the Great Britain squad, but says rumors he was floored by Dubois were wrong. AJ stated, "I knew Daniel from the GB squad. I'd just turned professional, but I stayed around the GB squad. I'd still train there, so we would spar. Good spares. This whole conversation that you're trying to get at, he just cracked me with a good shot. But I stood on my feet. I don't know where this whole narrative that someone turned my lights off came from. There were a lot of people that were in the gym that day, and they've come out and said nothing happened." Dubois said he has no interest in the past, adding, "I don't want to talk about no sparring or none of that. It happened 7 years ago, and to be honest, I can't remember that. I'm not here to spar him, I'm here to fight him. So let's keep it up. What I will say is that it was great being up there and sharing that experience with these guys that were at the top of their game. Another thing, speaking of sparring, people have mentioned sparring with me and they've come unstuck, so I don't want any bad luck to follow me." Anthony Joshua's career has not taken the path that Mike Tyson predicted it would, following his 2017 win over Vladimir Klitschko. Tyson firmly believed that Joshua was destined to be the heavyweight division's leading figure for many more years. While launching his Mike Tyson Academy franchise in Dubai, the seasoned boxer stated, "It's all going to be about Joshua and the heavyweights now. That one fight changed boxing." Tyson also added, "Joshua is still just a baby with 19 fights. It took me 28 fights to become world champion. But who cares? He's the champ. The sky's the limit for him now, and he is going to dominate the division and make so much money if he just keeps on doing what he's doing." The fight is 3 months away now, but the boxing world is already busy in making their prediction for the winner. British boxer Scott Forrest also has the same perspective about Anthony Joshua. He believes that Joshua has much more experience than Daniel. He thinks that the power Joshua has is too much for Daniel.
I think AJ's too clever and he is too strong. Dubois had a good fight, but you could see in the first few rounds that he wasn't 100% there. He did have a good performance, but I think AJ's too experienced and has got too much on him.
Tyson Fury trainer Peter Fury believes both fighters are skilled enough to face each other, but he also thinks that Joshua is slightly more experienced and has that speed and to dominate. He stated, "Very interesting one. They can both punch for sure. You'd have to go with Joshua because he has that experience, and he's got that sharpness and the speed. He's mixed at that level as well, that very high level." Tony Bellew has questioned Dubois' defense and believes it's too porous for him to take brutal right-hand shots from Joshua without falling to the canvas. If he fights AJ next, it ends quickly and brutally, purely based on the fact that, let's just put 2 and 2 together here. He took 56 clean right hands in the first 4 rounds. He added, "You'll get away with 1 or 2 against AJ, and then you know what happens? Then you go to sleep." I take nothing away from him. Amazing resilience and a huge amount of courage against Filip Hrgović, but it's one thing Filip Hrgović hitting you, and another thing a wrecking machine like Anthony Joshua hitting you. Barry McGuigan maintained that Joshua would likely be too much for the 26-year-old, but refused to rule out Daniel. He believes that Joshua is a complete fighter and the favorite, but Daniel can knock anybody out. He mentioned Daniel's previous fight with Hrgović, where he was suffering to stand against Hrgović, but he saw that one opportunity and finished it. He thinks that Daniel should be given a chance against Joshua because he has that potential to win. He stated, "The thing about Dubois is that Dubois can punch so hard that it only takes a split second. You give him an opportunity, you create the space, you come over the top of a left jab, anybody he hits, He can knock them out. Having said that, Joshua is the favorite, but you have got to give Dubois a chance with anybody. He was losing to Hrgović. Hrgović was beating him comprehensively, and then that cut happened, and it was all over. But he has got a tremendous punch, and you have got to give him a chance with anybody. Again, I make Joshua the favorite. Joshua is the more complete fighter. He is better all round. He can box and fight. So I definitely think that Joshua will be too much for him. Dubois has got a puncher's chance. Heavyweight contender Jerry Forrest thinks that Joshua can beat anybody. He said that Joshua is always ready to learn something new, and he's a humble guy who is trying to get better, even though he has all the titles. Jerry believes that if Joshua keeps getting better like this, he will be victorious.
I got my money on Joshua versus anybody. Besides myself, I believe Joshua can beat anybody. Listen, he's the truth. He wants to get better. He's very receptive. He listens. He's a good guy. Even when I come into the gym, I'm not a world champion. He had all the titles. He's listening to me in the sense of, let's take the advice, So he's a humble guy that actually wants to get better in the sport. So if he keeps progressing, man, this guy may be around until he's 40 years old.
Lawrence Okoli thinks that Joshua got to go for the early KO. He believes that Joshua has the ability to knock out Daniel in the early rounds, but he believes that it's obvious that Joshua would be in a race against time if he fought Dubois. If he doesn't get to him within a round or two, the younger fighter, who has a much better engine, will take him apart and chew him up. He stated, "You favor AJ because he's vastly experienced and has great speed and power, so he might be able to get a shot off quicker." He added, "If AJ lands a right hand clean the way Hrgović landed, AJ can put anyone out. The problem is, if Joshua doesn't get him out of there straight away, as we saw in his Dubois last fight, Hrgović, and against Jarrell Miller. One thing he's Dubois going to do is grit down and throw 2 or 3 punches at a time. When he looks tired, he's going to keep going. I don't know how a man his size has that kind of engine, but he does. So, I think it'll be up to AJ to get him out of there as quickly and as early as possible and establish himself in the fight and dominate. Otherwise, it'll be a really hard night." Carl Froch, web host, commentator, believes Daniel Dubois has a good chance of upsetting Anthony Joshua on September 21st. As Froch points out, the 34-year-old Joshua, 28-3, 25 KOs, hasn't fought anyone of quality since his second fight against Andy Ruiz in 2019, apart from his 2 bouts against Oleksandr Usyk, which he lost. He stated, "Him against Joshua, who hasn't really beaten anyone of note since being flattened by the fat kid Andy Ruiz and losing to Usyk twice, who he has fought to say, 'I've done really well. I got a good win, not Ngannou.' He crumbled on the first after the first right hand he hit him with. If Dubois goes in there and believes in himself, then that could be a tasty fight, even if every pro thinks that Joshua is more experienced. Trainer Shane McGuigan believes that Daniel has the ability to knock out any heavyweight in the world right now. He thinks that Daniel has the speed and balance that could lead him to victory."
Daniel has always had that ability. When I was working with him, unbelievable ability, like great balance, great punch power. Can throw any shot in the book. Most heavyweights can't really do that. They're stuck on like the jab and the right hand. He could throw uppercuts, hooks. He could throw them with speed. He lacked a little bit of intensity, lacked a lot of belief. But I feel like the last couple of fights have really brought that out of him. That confidence. He's still a young heavyweight, and he's got the ability to knock any heavyweight out on the planet.
With just under 3 months to go, Joshua is getting ready for Dubois, but it seems he's still keeping one eye on a match with Fury. The Gypsy King last fell to defeat against Usyk in their undisputed heavyweight title clash in May, but a rematch is set for December 21st. Should he win, Joshua is tipped to be his next opponent, as the FaceTime with Turki Alalshik proved.
Champ, finish the job in 21 of December, and look who's waiting for you.
I'm waiting for you.
Done! I'll get the fucking job done!
No, you won't.
Yeah!
Either way, I'm waiting for you.
I'm gonna get the job done!
Either way,
He's waiting for you.
Good. I'm getting done first and I'll fight him there!
Yeah.
When you gonna put it on? What day?
In the first or the second quarter of 25. Okay, AJ waiting for you, and the world waiting for you.
Good! Can't wait!
This can't wait.
AJ then implied he should use his fists instead of his mouth, but Fury cheekily responded, "I'll use them both on your face, you big ugly dosser." Joshua also jokingly said his fellow heavyweight looked like a tomato and should put on sunscreen amid some apparent sunburn. "I've got to get Usyk dealt with first again," said Fury, although AJ replied, "Again? You ain't dealt with him once yet." Oleksandr then reminded the Gypsy King of the task on December 21st, with victory potentially setting up a historic all-British fight.
Let him with the rope. And the 21 of December.
No problem.
See you and the family tomorrow, champ. Bye.
Hey, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be waiting here as well.
Asked if he wants Fury to beat Usyk, AJ said, "Yeah, in a way. I don't mind anymore whether he wins or loses. I just want to fight him. It's been dragging on. Fury ducks a lot of people. He doesn't fight many people, many top-tier people. He needs to get on with it and come and fight me and stop wasting my time. I don't want to wait until I'm 40, 41, 42 to fight him." However, revisiting Fury's banter with Usyk, Anthony Joshua finds Tyson Fury unqualified to take boxing to newer heights and calls him an idiot. He stated, "I'm glad Fury isn't the undisputed champion. I've always said he's an idiot. He's very disrespectful. He has to step on people to make himself feel good. The way he disrespected Usyk, rabbit this and middleweight that. It's not good for the sport. If I respect you and you respect me, we can lift this sport up and make people think we are two of the most elite fighters in the world. But Fury will step on you and make you look like a guy who's just walked out of a pub. Then he goes and gets spanked. He deserves it." Usyk stayed unbeaten and took Fury's 0 by beating the Gypsy King in May, and the pair are set for a rematch in Riyadh in December. Laying out a 5-fight plan in February before his inaugural encounter with Usyk, Fury said, "I've got 2 fights with Usyk for the undisputed, twice. Then I'm going to fight AJ Joshua at least once, maybe twice if there's a rematch. If he wants one after the first battering I give him. Then I'm going to fight Francis Ngannou again, and that's just the start. So there are 5 little fights for you to whet your appetite with. I ain't going nowhere." When asked about a potential matchup between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, Warren stated that Tyson announced the rematch soon after the fight.
Said about the rematch there, obviously there are one or two whispers and rumours about Anthony Joshua potentially. Tyson Fury, you're 100% sure Tyson Fury takes the rematch?
He announced it in the ring and he told me he wants it. And it's contracted before the event took place. There's a contract in place for it.
Both Fury and AJ have lost to Usyk, with Fury succumbing to a brutal points defeat in his undisputed fight with the Ukrainian in May. And as a result, ex-world champion Carl Froch now believes AJ could come out on top due to his recent run of positive form. He said, "I've always thought Fury beats Joshua. I think he's too fast, too light on his feet, good movement, more of a natural talent. He's boxed from a younger age. He has that flair and ability. His distance, his timing, there are so many things he does right that you can't teach. Head movement, feints." So what are your thoughts about AJ versus Dubois? Do you see AJ versus Tyson happening in the near future? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.